Hey everybody, welcome back to My Wings of Refuge. I'm really excited today because it is so hot outside, and I mean it's almost 100 degrees out there, and so I decided to stay in and do a little baking. And one of my new favorite pies is the French silk pie. So that's what we're going to make today, so let's get started. Okay, so we have here 2 sticks of melted butter. Then we have here a 1.5 cups of powdered sugar. And I'm going to use powdered sugar. You can use regular sugar, but you might be able to taste a little bit of the grain once we mix it. And to make this as silky smooth as possible, I'm going to use powdered sugar. So it's a 1.5 cups of powdered sugar. And then about 6 ounces here of chocolate chips. I'm using the 65%. I actually like the dark chocolate. It is a little bit more bitter, less sweet, but it also has less additives usually in it too. And so I'm going with that. And then we need 4 eggs, a little bit of vanilla, real vanilla, and of course our pie crust. Now I made a strawberry pie recently, and it has my homemade pie crust in there. That is the crust that I have and that I'm using today. I will include that link in the bio there for you to find that recipe, but any pie crust will work. You want a prepared pie crust, one that is cold, that is room temperature. You can bake it fresh yourself, or you can get the kind at the grocery store, but you'll want to bake it so that it is cooked, because this pie here won't need any cooking when we're done. Okay, so let's start by heating up our chocolate. I'm just going to microwave this probably about 30 seconds at a time, and stir it until it's nice and creamy smooth. We want to take our melted butter and we're going to pour it in to our mixer. Okay. Then we're going to add in our powdered sugar. Okay, so now we're going to cream these together on about a medium high. We're going to get this about 5 minutes, and we want it to be fluffy and white. That's when we know it's ready. Okay, so we have creamed the butter and the sugar, and now it's time to add in our chocolate and a 1/2 tablespoon of our real vanilla. Okay, so now we're just going to mix it really well till it's well incorporated. Okay, so we're getting really close. Our chocolate is well blended, and now it's time to add in our eggs. So what we're going to do is we're going to add in 1 egg at a time. Now, since this pie is not going to be cooked, you want some really good trusted eggs. These are my home-raised eggs, fresh from my chickens, so these are the eggs that I'm going to use. I like to crack them one at a time over a bowl, just in case I don't want to drop my shells into my pie or pie mix. So I'm going to do 1 egg at a time, and then we're going to mix it on medium-high for 5 minutes. Then we're going to add in our next egg, and then so on. So here we go, the first one. Okay, so now we're just ready to pour this into our pie crust. Now we're going to put this in the refrigerator for about 3 hours and let it chill really good. And then as soon as it's ready, we'll make up our whipped topping to go over the top and a little sprinkles of chocolate, and it'll be ready to eat. So while I was at it, since my pie crust makes 2 pies, I'm using these little ramekins, and I've made another batch, so I'm going to fill these as well. Okay, our pies have been chilling in the refrigerator now for about 3 or so hours, and I'm ready to make the whipped cream topping. So this is so easy. I mean, it's really hard to imagine even buying whipped cream or Cool Whip at the grocery store when this tastes so good and it's really so easy. So I always buy and keep heavy whipping cream in my refrigerator. I use it for milk if I ever need milk, and I just water it down. I'm crazy that way, but we don't drink or use a lot of dairy products, so I usually keep the one product on hand, and it comes in really handy. So since I made technically 2 pies, I'm going to make a double batch here. And so really, if you're only making 1 pie, you probably only need about a cup of your heavy whipping cream, unless you like a lot of whipped cream, and then you might want to make more. This is 2 cups. I'm going to pour that right into my mixer. And then usually per cup you want 2 to 3 tablespoons of sugar. It can be powdered sugar or it can be regular white sugar. This is going to be creamier. I don't want it to have any grit to it at all, so I'm going to use the powdered sugar this time. But either one. If you want your whipped cream to be a little sweeter, I would go with the 3 tablespoons. If you want your whipped cream to be a little less sweet, I would do the 2. So since I'm doubling mine, I'm actually doing the 4 to 5 tablespoons. And one of my favorite things you don't have to use, but I love my real Mexican vanilla. And so about a teaspoon or 2 of real vanilla. And then, just going to raise this up, and we're going to mix this on high for about 5 minutes. You want it to be thick and you want it to peak. So you want it to be stiff. You'll really know when it's done because it will look like whipped cream. Okay, so here I just have basically a handful of these little chocolate chips that I used in my pie, and I'm going to use my Pampered Chef chopper just to get them under there. Oops, I've got a few stragglers here. Push them under like this, and then I'm just going to chop these up really fine. Okay, there we go. And we'll use that to sprinkle over our pies. Okay, so our whipped cream is done. And we're ready to put it on our pie. Okay, so in an effort to try to make this look a little bit pretty, I've put my whipped cream in a bag like this. It's just a Ziploc bag. And I'm going to cut a tiny hole in the bottom. Just a tiny hole. And that way it'll come out a little bit prettier, and I'll just be able to squeeze and make a little bit of a design. Okay, so I'm not very artistic. Then we're going to take just a little bit of our chocolate chips here, and we're just going to lightly sprinkle it. There we go. What you think? And here you have it, our beautiful French silk pie. Now we're just ready to eat it. I'm so glad you stayed and watched today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you'll please give us a thumbs up and please subscribe. I have so much going on right now I can't wait to tell you about. So much happened in the last few days. Animals leaving the farm, animals coming to the farm. So many things has happened, and I can't wait to tell you about it. So stay tuned for next week. You don't want to miss it. Have a great week, y'all. Stay safe out there.